All right, how's it going, folks? Jesse Montaño, Meghan Angley. Avs lose the home opener 6-4. We are going to jump right into our post-game media presser. And look, we're going to get to goaltenders. We got a lot of questions about goalies, so we picked a couple that just kind of blanket the topic. We're going to get there. Meghan, I'm going to start with you here. This is coming from Twitter. Do you see Ivan moving up the lineup? He's been electric.
I don't necessarily see him moving up the lineup right now, but I do see him being rewarded with more opportunity in already seeing him help in a big way on the power play with Nathan MacKinnon's goal, and then afterwards nearly scoring a goal of his own. I think he has shown that he has offensive ability at this level that Bednar is going to want to find opportunities to reward, but there is something to be said about the type of role that he does play and some of the rawness that still exists in his game. I think he's building towards that, and he's earning a lot of trust to be a future full-time NHL player in a quick amount of time. And so I don't think that should be understated. I'm so proud of the game that he had tonight. It's the best I've seen him look so far, not just through preseason and through preseason and regular season combined, because it is really difficult to do this at the NHL level, and the fact that he's figuring it out this quickly is really encouraging.
Coming from Twitter once again, goaltending issues aside, how do you think the defense has played these first two games? Are they part of the problem or not? I think it's an interesting question.
I find it challenging because I've evaluated the defense in terms of team defense. I haven't really keyed in specifically on just what the D-core is or isn't doing. There are moments that I have liked about some of the players moving the puck, regular players particularly. And there have been things that have been challenging, like on the penalty kill has been a challenge general. There are just holes to be filled there that I think we're seeing some of the consequence of those absences or departures. And then where the defense is concerned, again, evaluating just kind of team defense on the whole, there are still things that they need to clean up. I don't know that the answer is a Ludwig or a Shillington coming into the lineup. I could see the value of it injecting some new blood, but I haven't really disliked what the D-core specifically has done. Actually, there were a lot of pairing switches in this game that had us worried that somebody might have been injured, and it was just the Bednar at work mixing that up a bit. And I think what I've liked is this is a team that is digging deep, they're hitting, they're out shooting, and 5v5 controlling possession now through 2 games. They're actually doing so many of the right things that I'm not really looking super critically at the forward group or even the D-core when it comes to this. It has boiled down to goaltending in my eyes. There are still details I'd like to see them clean up in their own end, in particular on their rush coverage. Jared Bednar has talked about this. And what I've noticed, and this is just difficult to defend on the rush generally, is skaters entering the Av zone and the players that are first back not getting to their man quick enough. It's like there's just a couple strides behind, and so these players are able to move out to the perimeter and set up at the bottom of the circle, and that's where I'd like to see the defender that is on that trying to engage in a battle, right? Like trying to conduct a hit, and because they're drawing so wide, trying to move them to the boards and complete a hit there and stop that pass from getting through to the other player. I think that's maybe where I'd like to see just a little bit more aggression on behalf of the D-core.
Okay, so let's wade into this goalie conversation here, Meghan. I'm going to throw one at you, then we can change up the roles a little bit here. Jared Bednar, heavily defensive of Alexander Guerilla. Maybe not heavily defensive, but a little bit less critical than what we saw a couple nights ago in Vegas. You got a question that said, what else can he say? I think it's a good question because I think it's spot on.
I think so too, and to summarize from the Bednar presser, he talked about how Georgiev is their guy. He is their starter, and there is still belief that this is a goaltender who can win them games. That's kind of the summary. And I think what else can he say is a really valid question. Someone in my comments sort of said this, so I'm reframing it, but I do believe that good coaches do the coaching behind closed doors. I think that there are some things the media-facing side doesn't need the full story behind. I think that there is a different conversation that's happening with Georgiev that probably still has tones of belief in his ability, because I do agree in the assessment of this being a mental game for Georgiev. I think Georgiev is better than these starts indicate, but the mental frustration that is influencing his game is a past problem that has already cropped up, and that is a very valid concern. I think it's one, though, that's best addressed in a room that we can't hear, because it is just between Georgiev and the staff and the team to rebuild that trust. And I think it starts with building his confidence. And so I think addressing the media with that kind of sentiment, which it did feel a little heavy-handed. You know, it felt like there was a game plan going into this presser. He knew exactly how he wanted to talk about Georgiev. I think it's very intentional, but I don't necessarily dislike it, and I don't think we should come down hard on Bednar for making that choice. I think it's very necessary in rebuilding Georgiev's confidence. All right. We're going to flip the questions now on Jesse. Jesse, we're actually going to start with one. Why was Jesse wearing a puffy vest tonight when it's 80 degrees out?
See, we got to keep it a little bit light. It's cold in here. You guys know I'm a cold person. There's a draft on us right now. So, yes, it's a nice night outside, but I'm very cold inside this building.
The Avs have scored 8 goals. They're averaging 4 goals a game. Usually you should win. But when you can't stop a nosebleed and give up 14, literally, they can easily be 2-0.
So I actually made this comment to someone walking out of the Avs dressing room on the way down to Jared Bednar, that the players in front, I think, have played well enough at least to have earned a 1-1 record here to start the season, if not 2-0. I think it's spot on. Look, like the frustration seemed like it boiled over. Jared Bednar told us right after the game, it felt like we had the weight of an entire season on us, and it's only been 2 games. That's the type of frustration, Megan, that stems from you're doing not everything perfect, far from perfect, but you're doing a lot of good things. You're earning good results, and when you just keep having to fish it out of your net, that frustration grows. No one's going to throw Alexander Georgiev under the bus, especially to us. No one's going to do it. But if you watch this game tonight, you saw the frustration grow. You saw it boil over. That's one part that the Avs got to make sure that they get that mental side of the game a little bit in check. I get it. It's frustrating. I understand where they're coming from, but that doesn't help the situation.
We're going to really dig into the goalies. If you're CMAC, realistically, what options do you have outside the waiver wire? What options are out there you could trade for, and what would the cost be?
So here's the issue. You and I were actually talking a little bit about this, before we saw this question. The tough part is, folks, there's no, easy solution out there. There are no high-end goaltenders out there that are just begging to be traded that teams are looking to give away. I think you were the one who made the point, Megan, when we were chatting earlier. If the Avs were to go out and do something, it's going to be something off the board, significant trade, moving significant pieces and picks, things like that, to bring in a goaltender. If you're actually wanting to just hard address this right now, the one name that you could maybe bring to your mind is John Gibson out in Anaheim. He's been injured. He's getting a little bit older. He's not quite the same goalie he was. Cap hit's much higher than Alexander Georgiev. You're in a tough spot right now, no doubt about it. And goaltending is one of those positions that when you find yourself in a tough spot, it's hard to get out. Right now, you're looking at Capo Kakinen and saying, what can this guy give us, and how quick can we get on the phone with the U.S. U.S. consulate here? Can we get on the phone with immigration and hurry this up? But really, there's, and Avs fans may not like it, there's not a lot of easy options that you can point to right now.
I'm going to give you the floor from Risty Assets. Talk goalies. What can they trade for? Do they trade for anyone? How desperate are they? Opinions on if this is actually a problem that needs to be solved right now or not.
Look, this was one that we marked because there was a lot of questions just about goalies, so we marked this one intentionally. It's just kind of like a broad strokes. Here's my thoughts, Megan. You're in trouble. This is 2 games that not only have they been disappointing games, they've been kind of catastrophic efforts from what's happened in net. And I don't think that this is necessarily happening inside the locker room. It's 2 games. That's the other thing everyone's got to remember. It's 2 games here. But if this keeps going on, that frustration is going to continue to build. And you don't want it to lead to any type of friction in the locker room. But you're in a tough spot with your goaltenders right now. And you're in a little bit of trouble right now if they can't figure it out. This is 2 games in a row, especially tonight. This was an opponent that was supposed to be a little bit of the layup bounce-back game. Columbus is not projected to be a good team this year. That roster is full of a lot of players who you keep having to go, who? The Avs needed a strong bounce-back. This was a layup game. Jared Bednar went back to Alexander Georgiev trying to build up that confidence, and it kind of fell flat. And Jared Bednar said, it's disappointing. It's 2 games in a row. You need one of those goaltenders. I think you already said it. It's a mental challenge at this point. We've seen Alexander Georgiev make saves. He's physically able of playing at this level. It is all between his ears right now. And if he can't figure that out, the Avs are going to have to start trying other options. It's part of the reason why I liked the Kähkönen move so much. It's not a snap your fingers and it's fixed. It's an option, though. The Avs are in a little bit of trouble with this goaltending tandem right now, and not just based on these 2 games. You can track this back to last season where they've struggled. I'm not saying it's impossible for them to turn it around. Both goaltenders have shown they can win games for this hockey team. But I'm not really sure where the reset button is for those two, because you're getting a lot of positive results in front of them, and the goaltenders just really aren't coming up with the saves that you need. They're in trouble. You got to see what Kähkönen can do, and you got to hope that one of these guys, whether it be Annunen or Georgiev, can get it figured out, because as we just talked about, there are not a lot of obvious trade options out there.
And this will be the last one. What is the sentiment within the club around UC Parkala? Is there any concern that he's not equipping the goalies well enough to succeed?
So this, and I'm not criticizing the question at all, but this is a funny question, because if you turn the clock back 10 months, the conversation on UC Parkala is like, this guy's the goalie whisperer. Everyone that comes in here, their play goes to another level. That was true of Georgiev for a while. It's hit a little bit of a wall here. I think the organization really likes UC Parkala, and I think there's a lot of track record here that says he does know how to get a lot out of these goaltenders, and I think that just underscores a little bit how much these 2 goalies are in it mentally. They're battling to get out of it. Again, I don't see this as they're physically unable to play goalie at this level. It's all between the ears, and they are struggling to pull themselves out of it. And you can see that self-doubt starting to creep in. The Avs got to find some way to break that. You thought maybe Kähkönen coming in was going to be a wake-up call for him. It wasn't. Now it is on UC Parkala to help these guys gather their game and put the right foot forward.
Any final thoughts?
Not on this one. That was a tough one. Tough one in net again. Look, you got to get some saves, and that's it. That's it. That's all it comes down to for me. For you?
True.
That's it. That's Meghan Angley. I'm Jesse Montaño. That's Mark behind the camera. Thanks so much, guys. Avs dropped this one tonight.